Okay, so we're going to go over some exponent rules. So let's take an example for a product rule. We have 2 to the 3 times 2 to the 4th. So if we did that from the lesson before, right, we would know that we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? These 4 are here, these 3 are here, and we'd get 2 to the 7th. Okay, but there's a rule for it, so when you multiply exponents with the same base, you add the exponents. So if we look here, we have our base is 8, and we have 5 and 3, so we're going to have 8 to the 5 plus 3, or 8 to the 8th. Here we have our base is y. This is actually y to the 1, so we're going to add them together, and we're going to get y to the 10th. Here we still have a base of a, even though there's 3 of them. And so we do a 4 plus 3 plus 10, a to the 17th. And then finally, when we have numbers, we just treat them like numbers. So if we have this times this, we need to take the coefficient. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we have our x to the 9th. Alright, so remember, this is a vocab term. Product rule. So, right, it's part of the exponent rules. Okay, power rule, another vocab term. We can also think of it as power to a power. So let's have an example. 2 to the 3 to the 4th. So if we did that from the lesson before, we'd have 2 times 2 times 2, and then we'd have this 4 times. Times, and that would give us 2 to the 12th. So the trick here is that instead of writing them all out and then adding them all up, we can just multiply. So when we have a power to a power, we just multiply them. So we get 2 to the 12th. When you take a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So if we look here, right, we have 4 times 3 is 12. So 4 times 3 equals 7 to the 12th. Let me box the answers. Right, x 5 times 2 equals x to the 10th. And if you're ever not sure, like if you forget the rules, we're going to go over a trick later, but you can also just do it the long way. Right, you could do like this version, and then you can double check and make sure that you have it right. So when we have the numbers, right, we're gonna make a note here, right? Treat numbers like numbers, right? So if I have negative 10 squared, so that's the same thing as negative 10 squared x to the 6th squared. So that's gonna be 100 x to the 12th. Alright, and here we're going to square everything. 1 to the 3rd squared, x squared, y to the 3rd squared. So this becomes 1 to the 9th, or you can keep it to 1 to the 3rd squared. It's okay, both for this lesson. X squared, y to the 6th. Right, 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, quotient rule, another vocab term. If we were to do this example, right, we'd get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 over 2 times 2 times 2. That gives us 2 to the 2nd. Right, so if you notice the pattern here, we just subtracted those. So when you divide exponents with the same base, you subtract the exponents. Right, this is a vocab term. So here we have 2 to the 11th minus 6 equals 2 to the 5th. right? We're in the same base. We have base of -4. Make sure to keep that parentheses. -4, 7 minus 4 equals -4, parentheses to the third. And let's write our base here, right? Our base is 2, our base is -4 here, our base is x, so we do 5 minus 3, x squared. Alright, these are a little more complicated. Remember, we just treat numbers like numbers, so if I was to ask you to simplify 3 over 12, you would know that it's 1/4, so that still stays the same. We have 1/4, and then we have y to the 6. And then here, right, 6 over 2 equals 3, so we have 3. There's more x's on top, so we have x8, y2, z1. We're just going to write it like that. Okay. Alright. So we have more quotient rule. You can think of it, right, like if you were to do 2 over 3, 2 over 3, 2 over 3, that's the same thing as 2 to the third over 3 to the third. So we can just leave it right here in exponent version. Here we have x to the third over y to the third. And then here, remember we have the whole thing, so we have 2 to the third, x to the third over y to the 6th, right? So we applied the cube to the top and the bottom, and then we did our power of a power rule right here. Okay, so a cool thing about GEMDAS or PEMDAS order of operations is it sort of gives you a hint of what you need to do if you forget the rules, right? So let's take a look at this one, right? We see that we have exponents. So what we need to do is we're trying to multiply these two things. So we need to add them, right? So, how do I write this? We're multiplying, so add, right, the a from add exponents. Right, so if you ever forget the rule, you can sort of look at order of operations and it might help you remember what to do. Right, so we multiply these like normal, keep our numbers the same, and then we add, right, the 3 plus the 7. Okay, here we have a grouping. Our grouping is first, and we're taking the exponents, right? We're taking a power of a power. So we're taking this group and we're taking it to the exponent. So what we need to do is we need to multiply. Right, so we do 4 to the 4th, x to the 5 to the, x to the 20th. No, we don't need the parentheses there. Y to the 12th. Right? Okay, and then here we are trying to divide, so we're going to subtract. Right? So 5 over 7 doesn't simplify. 8 minus 5 is 3, so we have a to the 3, and then 5 minus 3 is 2, so we get b to the 2. Right, do the work over here. A 8 to the minus 5, b 5 minus 3, and that goes to that. Okay, one more hard one. So first we have a group that we're trying to take an exponent to. So we have 2 to the 3rd, we're multiplying, right? And you could think of this as 2 to the 1, right? And so 1 times 3 is 3. We have 3 times 3. Here, I'll break it all down. Okay, so we have 2 to the 1 to the 3rd, a to the 3 to the 3rd, b to the 4th to the 3rd, times 4ab to the 5th, all over 64a 5b 3. So this is 2, 1 times 3, right? We're multiplying because we're taking power of a power. A 3 times 3, b 4 times 3, 4ab to the 5th. These are all the same. I'm just writing this out step by step. Alright, so this turns into 2 to the 3, a to the 9, b to the 12, 4ab to the 5th, 64a b to the 3rd. Sorry. Okay, so here, right, we're trying to multiply. Oops, yes, we're trying to multiply, so we're going to add, right? So we have 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 4 is 32. We have a to the 9 plus 1, b to the 12 plus 5, because we're adding right here. And then we have 64, a to the 5th, b to the 3rd, that stays the same. So we have 32, a to the 10th, b to the 17th, or 64, a to the 5th, b to the 3rd. And now we're doing subtraction. So we have, right, we're trying to divide, so we need to subtract. So 32 over 64 is 1/2. A to the 10 minus 5, b to the 17 minus 3. That gives us finally 1/2 a to the 5th, b to the 14th. Right, so I broke this down really step by step, but a lot of these you might be able to do in your head. So you just got to remember all your exponent rules and how to combine them all, and you definitely want to practice this. So make sure you're doing all the practice. And definitely get to the ones, right, the bring the pain ones, the hard ones on the back. And see if you can do any of the application ones.